From Darling Stadium in Hampton, WHCS Cable Channel 46 presents Peninsula District Football, the Hampton Crabbers and the Phoebus Phantoms. Good evening, everybody. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz. We welcome you to Darling Stadium for tonight's final regular season coverage of Channel 46 of the Peninsula District. We've got what makes to be a really good game, Bob. We've got a team that's on the way to the playoffs but has to win out. We've got a team that's not going to make the playoffs but can salvage their whole season with a victory tonight. That's the Phoebus Phantoms.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind Phoebus wants to win this ball game. Tim, I came last week and I watched the Phoebus play Warwick, and Phoebus defense did what they were supposed to do except for one thing. They never closed up on their tackling. They never shut down. They were in the backfield. They would hit the ball carrier, but they wouldn't wrap him up. And I know Bill D was very upset. The kids were real tight. He says, if we come out here tonight and we play loose, we can win this ball game. And he really feels he can win tonight.
Well, you have to. I mean, obviously, and Phoebus is a good team. They're 6-2, 5-2 in the district. You don't get 6 victories without being a good team. But unfortunately, their 2 losses were to Heritage and Warwick. And now, of course, Hampton, I think those 2 losses I know they have. They've eliminated them from postseason play. But like I said, I know Bill feels that they can end the season on a very positive note with a victory tonight. And they've got the team that can do it. They're just going to have to play very well.
Oh, absolutely. And they may get some breaks tonight because there's a few young men that are not going to be playing for Hampton. And notably, a young man by the name of Stephen Lee. Young man, there was a nice article in the Daily Press about him playing with one kidney. He got a hip pointer in a gym class playing basketball. And this comes from a basketball coach. You don't play basketball during football season. You don't play football during basketball season. He's not practiced all week. He's got another defensive lineman out. Chris Green is out. So, and then he's got a couple of running backs that are kind of dang. And we talked before about Hampton having all this depth in their backfield, especially at the tailback. Well, they got 2 that's not going to play tonight. So that puts it all on Joe Smith, who is a capable runner.
Well, if you got to put it all on one guy, he's a pretty good guy to put it on. Now, and again, Hampton being a multi-dimensional team, they don't rely on just one. We've talked about, you've got Joe Smith, you've got Stephen Wyatt, who I think is one of the dinged-up players. You've got Alvin Banks. You've got
you got the
fullback.
Yeah, look at the fullback, Big Mac in there.
So, Hampton has the offensive weapons, and they've played extremely well on defense. We talked about last week, they gave up that safety. But again, the defense didn't.
That's right.
The offense had a safety against them, and of course the defense takes great pride in shutting out opponents, and they'll try to do that tonight against this Phoebus team. Phoebus could be down a little bit after being eliminated last week, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they'll be up for this one.
Oh, there's no doubt that they're going to be up for the game. Bill D and Mike Smith have a great rivalry between them. There's not a whole lot of love lost in there, but that also makes for a good rivalry. And these young men get their teams up. And these young men want to do well by their coaches. And they want to come out here, they want to play well, they want to do well, and they want to win for their coaches.
Speaking of the coaches, we're going to go back in time right now. Bob had a chance to talk with head coach Mike Smith of the Hampton Crabbers.
I've got Mike Smith with me, the coach of the Crabbers. Mike, anytime a Hampton school plays a Hampton school, it seems to be a pretty big rivalry because the kids know each other.
Oh, that's true. They've grown up together. All of them know each other, and they've played with or against each other in the Little League all their life. So it does, I think, add to the intensity of the game.
Well, and I know it doesn't take much to get the kids up when they're playing against somebody they know. Now, I know you got a couple guys that are hurt tonight.
We've got more than a couple. We've got 2 starters out on defense, Stephen Lee, our senior linebacker, and our senior defensive guard, Chris Green. Neither one of them's dressed. In fact, Stephen's not here. And then 2 of our tailbacks in rotation are hurt. And so we've got some people banged up right now.
Well, when you're playing a team like Phoebus, do you do anything different when you bring the kids out to practice, or did you know, okay, this is what we expect from Phoebus, this is what we got to do?
Well, I think every year that you play someone, and they pretty much know what we're going to do, and we know a lot what they're going to do, but usually they put some different wrinkles in, and they do a good job. They've got a good football team. They played very well. They've lost 2 games to very good football teams, but they're very competitive. They've scored a lot of points, and they always play good defense. So they're always strong.
Good enough. Well, listen, good luck to you tonight, Mike.
Well, thank you, Bob.
Good
Appreciate it.
enough. Let's go up to Tim.
Coach Smith always talking about how well the team has to do, and this is we talked about this 2 weeks ago. The Crabbers are in the playoffs right now.
Right.
Every game is a playoff game.
And it is when you lose in the early part of the season, you can't lose another game throughout the season to make it to the playoffs, and the Crabbers know that. But you and I have seen the Crabbers year in, year out get better and better as the season goes on, and I don't expect this team to be any different.
Well, we talked about it, in fact, before when we talked about the fact that if you're going to beat Hampton, you've got to catch them early in the season. And otherwise, like you said, Mike always gets this team to peak at the right time, thus all the championships.
Right, and with the coaching staff that he's got, it helps because he's had a coaching staff that's been with him a long, long time. And Bill D has too. But you have some other teams that the coaching staffs kind of rotate, and it kind of gives some inconsistency in your coaching. You don't have that with either one of these two teams.
No. Before we go to the interview with Bill D, I want to talk about your apparel there.
Oh, yeah, well, I got this when you dove for a peanut and knocked my feet out from under. No, really, I had an operation on my shoulder, and everything's doing all right. It's sore as the dickens, and I had it Wednesday, and this is Friday, so I didn't know if I'd be here, but I'm here ready to go. You got to play hurt.
Does it hurt when you do this?
Yeah, I can't do that.
Don't do that.
Well, I asked the doctor, if I could play the piano, and he said, sure. And I said, well, good. I couldn't play it before.
Ra-da-da-boom. Okay, enough of that. Right now, we'll go back in time again. We had a chance to talk with head coach Bill D of the Phoebus Phantoms.
I have Coach D with me with the Phantoms. Coach had a good season so far. You missed a couple games that could have gone either way. You played good in a half of a game, especially against a good Heritage team, but you had a great practice this week.
Yeah, the kids, we were very disappointed in the performance that we gave last week, and we said, we got to come out here and play like the caliber football team we know we are, and the kids have responded very, very well. I said, the biggest thing we got to worry about is just let's go out here and play football the way we know we can play, and we didn't play 4 quarters, and what we got to do is come out here and play 48 minutes. If we do that, we're going to be fine.
Well, and I've noticed that and it's a key to any game. If you can play 4 quarters of the ball you're capable of playing. You've got a young man back tonight, Philip Brown is back in the lineup, and Mike Norwood, who's been injured. So that helps you, and you got to have a good defensive back against the Crabbers.
Well, it always helps to have, to be at full strength and to have the kids back that, that have been there. And, Philip, he played last week, but, he wasn't at 100%. I feel like he's at 100% this week. Mike's a little dinged up, but we couldn't keep him out of there.
Hey.
With 100 horses. He's going to play tonight. So we're going to get after it tonight. The kids are mentally ready.
Well, and that's a big key, getting them mentally ready and getting them to believe in themselves.
Well, that's what we've preached all week, and they've responded well, and they've come out here with enthusiasm, and we're going to play with enthusiasm.
Sounds good. Good luck tonight, Bill.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, stay tuned for tonight's starting lineups.
Back here at Darling Stadium, Tim Cole with Bob Hintz. As you see on your picture, the team's meeting at the center of the field. This is homecoming for the Phoebus Phantoms. Tonight's game is brought to you by Zooms with 6 convenient peninsula locations, and in part by Parklawn Wood Funeral Home, where the manager is Nancy Staten. Let's go down to the field right now. Carter Ficklin, our referee, is doing the pregame ceremonies.
toss and will receive at this end. Good luck.
Ficklin, our referee, he is going to be wired tonight with our wireless microphone. We appreciate that. And the Crabbers have won the toss, and they will receive. They'll be going from our right to our left. Officials for tonight's contest, as you have already heard, Carter Ficklin is the referee. And are the rest of the gentlemen involved. Chris Owens is your umpire. Chip McErlin is the linesman. The line judge is Jim Mayhew, and the back judge is Gilbert Simon, the field judge Craig Moore.
Tim, we will pick a player of the game tonight from each one of these teams, and that player will receive a plaque and a shirt. The plaque comes from Engraving Inc. They're located at Tab Square on Route 17. For all your engraving needs, contact Jim at 596-8850. Dave Buckwalter is owner. The shirt comes from the Islander Sporting Goods. They're located in Pocosin. They can meet all your sports needs with a full line of athletic goods, both team and individual, equipment and uniforms, plus screen printing. Call Dave Chubb at 868-8467. John Roberts is the owner.
All right. And we are glad to have you here tonight, Bob. I know we made light of your surgery earlier, but I know you've been in some discomfort. And Bob has been the trooper.
It got crowded up here. Or has it always been crowded? I don't know.
It's gotten crowded. But we've been doing this for 20 years, and Bob, to my knowledge, you have never missed a game because of illness.
Nope.
Or injury.
That's correct.
You've played hurt every time.
I missed one game, went to a wedding in Minnesota, and Coach Kozlowski was good enough to come in and set in for me. That was the first game of the season.
All right, we are underway. This is a short kick, and it is out of bounds after touching a Hampton player right about the 26-yard line. Had he allowed that to just go out of bounds, it would have been better off, but as it turns out, Crabbers will have it 26-yard line, 1st and 10.
I'll give you the offense for the Crabbers in just a second. Okay.
Crabbers from the 26. 12-minute quarters in high school football. Hampton 7-1 overall, 6-1 in the district. Phoebus 6-2 overall, 5-2 in the district. Hampton very much in the playoff picture.
Well, Phoebus has got 7 men right up the line of scrimmage.
The handoff goes into that line of scrimmage. Mac Jones got the call and didn't get much, if anything. Mac Jones on the carrier, got about a half a yard. Let's call it 2nd down and 10.
Well, they're looking for Hampton to run the ball, Tim, and Phoebus is going to force them into the pass.
Second down and 10 for the Crabbers. Campbell gives off to Smith.
Tim, there are 4 Phantoms that time are on that ball carrier as he got the call the ball.
Joe Smith.
Joe Smith, they had a great game last game we did against the, was it the Kickingham?
Yeah, the Warriors.
Warriors. And watch the replay and look at the crowd right around him as he gets hit. 4 Phantoms had a hold of him.
3rd down and long, 3rd down and about 9. Campbell play action, rolling to the near side. Now wants to throw back. He's got a man deep. He's got Fenner, Derek Fenner, and he will have a 1st down inside the 15-yard line.
What a great pass by Carlos Campbell, Tim, running to his left, stopping, threw back across the field. But downfield, get it. Here comes the Hampton offense. We got the centers, Dale Tyndall, the guards, Chris Perry and Stephen Williams, the tackles, Vernon Godwin and Creighton Travis. Split end is Alexander Mann, the flex back, Derek Fenner, who caught that ball. Flankers, Jimmy Williams, number 5, the quarterback, Carlos Campbell, fullback, Mac Jones, and the tailback, number 11, Joe Smith.
58 yards on the pass completion. That was thrown perfectly by Carlos Campbell right into the hands of Derek Fenner for the 1st down inside the 15.
Well, he did a good job getting behind the defensive backs that time.
Mac Jones gets the call. And here's the replay of that pass. This thing is right on the money. And if he had led him just a little further, he might have been able to go all the way, but a good job of following the receiver. And here are the Phantoms on defense, all right? They are Shaheed Harris and Littlejohn are your tackles. The ends are Adibi and Blunt. Pauling and Edmonds are the linebackers. Mike Dixon is the outside linebacker, I should say. Leon Mazel is the safety. Michael Norwood is the roving linebacker. And this is right up the middle. Joe Smith, touchdown. 13 yards, and Hampton makes short order of scoring on their initial possession using just a little over 2 minutes and 29 seconds to do so.
A good example, Tim, of being able to stop the run, and then a long pass opens up the run. That was a trap play, and inside it looked like that time that freed Joe Smith right up the middle for that 13-yard run.
And Joe Smith has just been outstanding the last few games for the Crabbers. As you mentioned, a terrific game against Kickingham last week. Kick is up by Aaron Whitehead, and it is good. And quickly, with 9:31 remaining in the first quarter, Hampton has drawn first blood with a 58-yard pass to Derek Fenner. And then 2 plays later, there you see Joe Smith almost untouched into the end zone. Ball came loose, but he was clearly in the end zone, and the touchdown had occurred long before the ball popped out.
Well, that's true, Tim. And what a great job of blocking by that offensive line, and missing some people on the defensive line. But that offensive line for the Crabbers, Tidwell, Perry, Williams, Godwin, and Travis do a great job, that front 5. And then you throw in the extra blocker in there sometimes when they bring in the tight end. But what a great job those front 5 did for the Crabbers that time.
84-yard drive. So now the Phantoms will get a chance. Carlos Campbell does the punting, but we're going to see Whitehead actually kicking off for the Crabbers. Aaron Whitehead, who kicked that extra point. He's a junior. And we're about set to kick it off. It'll be taken at about the 17-yard line. Good return by Maurice Boone, number 8 for the Phantoms. Across the 30 to about the 33-yard line. So that's where the Phantoms will start with their first possession. Give you the starting lineups. Here's the replay of the kick. All right, and we're back to the live action. Mizell at quarterback. Quick pass in the flat is intended for DJ Parker. It's incomplete.
It was on his hands, just a little too high for him. Here's the offense for the Phantoms.
All right, your center is Pavlik. Your guards are Ely and Edmonds. Littlejohn and Bowles are the tackles. The tight end is Shaheed Harris. DJ Parker, who we just saw, is the split end. Marlon Ellis, the flanker. The quarterback, Leon Mazel. Xavier Adibi is the fullback, and Travis McWright is the tailback. Out to about the 34-yard line is McWright for his first carry of the ball game.
And here your Hampton Crabbers on defense with guards with Stephen Williams and Tim Gorham. Tackles Nolan Cutler and Chris Perry. The ends Lawrence Callis and Jimmy Williams. The linebackers Mac Jones and Turtle Fenner. The corners are Joe Smith, Derek Fenner, and the safety is Carlos Campbell.
3rd down and 9 for the Phantoms. Play action. Mizell wants to throw, and contact made, and a flag will be thrown.
Yeah, there was obvious contact before the ball got there.
Just a little before the ball got there. Wasn't terrible timing, but it definitely appeared to be contact before the ball got there.
Well, sometimes you can go through the player going for the ball, but I don't believe that was the case.
Carter Ficklin will tell us all about it.
And that's the call, and it'll be from the line of scrimmage.
See if you can see it on the replay. Mizell with good time. And just right there, you can see the Hampton defender just got there a little too early. we're not able to hear him in the booth. I don't know whether he's...
I don't think he's coming across. I'm looking at our machine, and it's not doing anything.
Had some problems with the mic, but again, we'll get it fixed when we can. 49-yard line, first down. Mizell again wants to pass. This time it is complete at the 45 down to the 44. That's Philip Brown, the sophomore, making the grab for the gain down to, let's see where they mark him, 44-yard line. So a pickup of 7.
Tim Zooms is going to give an award to the senior football player on each one of the teams this year who has demonstrated academic excellence. These players will be awarded plaques at a school board meeting, and that meeting will be held on November the 15th. We want to thank David Allen Zooms for their continuing support of WHCS and our student athletes. I'll let you know who those athletes are in just a minute.
2nd and 3. This is Adibi, and he gets the first down as he is across the 40, close to the 39-yard line.
Those young men is going to receive that Academic Excellence Award for the Hampton Crabbers, number 55, Chris Perry. For the Kickintan Warriors, number 10, Joseph Player. For the Bethel Bruins, number 11, Joseph Lyles. And for the Phoebus Phantoms, number 5, Leon Mizell.
The name Perry jarred my memory when we were doing the pregame stuff down there. Clarence Perry, who played for Phoebus in 1986 for Bill D, was back here in his uniform. Gentleman come up from Camp Lejeune. See the game tonight. He said he drove 4 hours for homecoming. McWright, and he picks up about 10 yards, depending on the spot. He's very close to another first down.
Well, I tell you, he's got it, Tim.
Yep,
what a nice run that time. Good blocking on the line of scrimmage. And we'll have to watch this play from the line of scrimmage. A nice cross
Big
blocking
hole.
there, nice hole. Hats off to Alan Pavlik, Luke Ely, Eric Edmonds, Michael Littlejohn, and Jason Bowles, the front 5. And, of course, you throw in your big tight end, Shaheed Harris, and you got a nice group there.
Another first down, ball just inside the Hampton 30. Hampton 7, and Phoebus no score. Phoebus with their first possession. McWright is stopped for a loss by Big Mac Jones, who was in the backfield to throw him for a 1-yard loss. Travis McWright has just had an outstanding season for the Phantoms, and the good news is, if you're a Phoebus fan, he's as a junior, so he'll be back. Philip Brown, we mentioned him earlier, he's just a sophomore. Mizell is a senior, but the other quarterback, Ronnie Hendricks, who we very likely will see as we have flags down on the play.
Well, usually that means that there was movement on the offensive line of scrimmage.
Let the officials unravel this one for us. Phoebus, a young team, and that is illegal procedure against the Phantoms. Shaheed Harris, that big tight end we're talking about. He is a junior. So he will be back along with McWright and Hendricks. DJ Parker, a sophomore. Maurice Boone, a junior. That pass intended for Harris and broken up by Carlos Campbell.
Well, the pass, in all fairness to Shaheed, was thrown behind him. He got his hands on it, but at the same time, he met Carlos Campbell over the middle, Tim. That was been a tough catch at any league. Watch the replay. He just saw the end of it, but it was definitely a little bit behind him.
3rd down and 16. Phantoms got a man open at the 21-yard line. He's out of bounds at the 18-yard line. That'll be another first down.
That was number 10, Tim.
Jeremy Blunt, a junior.
Hey, they've got some young men on this team. That was a nice route that Jeremy Blunt did, but he did a great job of picking up the first down. He turned it up. He knew he had to get across the 20 to have any chance for that first down.
That was a gain of about 17 on the play. This is McWright, and he scoots across the 15 to about the 14-yard line. Another underclassman for the Phantoms is the young Xavier Adibi. He's just a sophomore.
Just a sophomore.
So they've got a very nice nucleus coming back next year and the year after. Gain of 5 for McWright, 2nd down and 5. This is Adibi, and Adibi is inside the 5. Touchdown!
Tim. He did a lot of that on his own. He broke a couple of tackles, on his way to that score. But if you remember the last time we saw him, he was limping. But he seems to be healed.
5:48 remaining in the first quarter, and the Phantoms answer the Hampton touchdown with one of their own on their first possession.
Well, Tim, both teams, drives very, very similar in that the pass was a big instrument in their drive.
The all-important point-after attempt. Good snap. The kick is blocked, partially blocked. Someone got a hand on it. So the Phantoms are unable to convert, and after their touchdown, trail 7-6. This is a DB, and he just rambled right up the middle on a good-looking. I tell you, the offensive line did a nice job on that series.
They really did, and that's why I recognized him. I thought the front five on both teams did real well on both of the drives. Want to talk about our crew tonight, our mobile cable technicians. Ace Era Towns and Asia Carroll. The cameras, Nathaniel Braxton, Susan Bowers, and Ron Baton. Engineer Don Schraus. Graphics and audio, Andy Foley, and the director, Scotty Bowers. And I know we got another young man down there for training, but I forgot his name.
That's right. He was with us, Juan Brown.
Juan Brown. He's in training, and there's him in the picture with the red jacket on.
All right.
Oh, it's the guy on the right. I'm sorry. He's got the dark jacket on. Well, what's the guy in the red jacket? What's he doing?
That's not a guy. That's Asia.
Oh, is that Asia in the middle? There you go. That's my eyes.
That's right. I'm not either.
My eyes are gone.
He's going to beat you up, hit you in your bad arm. All right, on the kickoff, that one's taken by Alexander Mann, and he returns it to the 35-yard line. So the Crabbers will start there. 5:42 left in the first period. Hampton 7 and Phoebus 6. Here's the replay of the kickoff taken by one of the up men, Alexander Mann. From the 35. Campbell at quarterback, Mac Jones and Joe Smith in the backfield. Handoff goes to Smith, and he tries the right side for about 3 out to the 38-yard line.
Big 78 for the Phantoms making the tackle that time, Tim, and that's Micah Littlejohn.
6'3", 230. He's the prototype of the right size for that position. I tell you, Bill D, won't make the playoffs this year, but boy, he's got a good-looking team coming back next year. Second down and 7 after the gain of 3. Campbell with a lateral to Jimmy Williams, and Williams is across the 40 to about the 42.
Well, now there's a play that you could watch, Tim, and it's a lateral, as you said, and that young man, Jimmy Williams, backup quarterback, can also throw the ball from that position should it be a lateral.
We've seen, as a matter of fact, a play similar to that as Campbell tossing it, then going downfield to be the receiver. Third down and about 3. Pitch to Joe Smith, and he's got the first down and then some as he crosses midfield to about the 47-yard line of the Phantoms, and that'll move the chains.
Well, Tim, that time where there was a Phoebus Phantom in the backfield had a hold of him, but that shows the acceleration that Joe Smith has. As right here, he gets away from, I believe it's number 10, just ran out of his grasp. And that happens when you've got some the speed and acceleration of a young man like Joe Smith in that backfield.
Smith, a senior. This is the inside reverse to Fenner, and Fenner will get to the 46-yard line, a couple of yards.
Well, I tell you one thing, a young man, the number 55, Chris Perry, threw a great block on Maury Pauling, who was right in position where he should have been to make the stop, or that play would have ended up with about a 2-yard loss.
Talking about the young men coming back for the Phantoms, I'll talk about some of the returners for this Hampton team as well in a minute. Second down and about 8. Campbell play action, wants to pass. Got a man open, Williams, and it's picked off. Either overthrown or underthrown. I don't know which one you want to choose, but the interception made by DJ Parker, and he returns it out to the Phantom 37-yard line. It'll be first down for Phoebus.
I believe, Tim, he just overthrew the intended receiver. I don't know if we have that on replay.
Either
but
long on one or short on the other.
There was
right
another
fixed.
player downfield. Nice faking that time. Steps up. Oh, I don't know. It may have been underthrown, Tim.
I think
a
it might have
second
been.
look at that.
Yep, I think it might have been. In any event, Parker right in the right spot, picks it off, and the Phantoms
get the first
benefit
turnover.
the first turnover. Mizell to the near side. Again, his intended receiver is DJ Parker, who just picked off that pass. And this time he can't catch it from his own quarterback.
Well, that was a tough pass, Tim.
Yeah.
Plus, he had 2 crabbers on him. The crabbers weren't fooled by that play at all. And there's one thing that you know that these two teams have done all year long, Tim, and that is scout the other team. They know what the other team is going to do, and they look at those tendencies, and they're ready for them.
On the option, this is McWright. McWright, nice move to get the corner, but then Campbell takes him down, and then a late flag, couple of flags come out, and that'll be for the late hit.
Bill Diaz over there telling his players to get around, but a young man was out of bounds and was hit, is what the call will be.
Watch the replay here. You're going to see the option. Watch this move right there. Did a good job to get the corner. He's out of bounds there, and then he's leveled well after he was out of bounds, and that'll cost the Crabbers 15.
But, you know, that happens. You're excited in the ball game, Tim, and you want to make sure the guy doesn't get any more yardage. And sometimes you a little late on that whistle, you don't pay attention to it, and that happens. Was not a flagrant call, but it was a hit out of bounds.
43-yard line of Hampton. This is McWright left side, and he is to the 40, picking up about 3. Speaking of 3, there are a little less than 3 minutes remaining here in the first quarter.
Well, this has been a first quarter that has had a lot of action. Both teams able to move the ball both on the ground and through the air. Very impressed with both teams. Great practice, Bill D said, after that loss to the Warwick Raiders.
They look sharp. They look like teams that are playing in the next to the last game of the season. They are executing very well. Mizell has plenty of time, now steps up and he'll run with the ball. Nice move as he faked out the defender, got the corner, and goes out of bounds, but not until he's all the way down to the 17-yard line.
Well, he was finally run out of bounds and tackled by Darnell Allen, number 81, but I'm real impressed with Leon Mizell.
He put a fake on the defender. Watch this as he decides to run with the ball. Right here, he just sidestepped. He gave him the juke to the right and went right past him for a fine gain down to the 17-yard line. This is McWright on a handoff. Flag on the play. McWright picks up a couple of yards, but we will have a penalty flag. It probably is going to go against the Phantoms. Let's see how they call it. Game videotaped on the 27th of October, the year 2000. Our regular season finale, and we've had an excellent season. Seen some really good ball games. And there's the indication from referee Ficklin. It is a procedure call against the Phantoms, and that'll back them up 5 yards, put them on the 22-yard line. First and 15.
Oh, they're going to move it back. Yeah, they're going to move it clear back to the 22. You're right. The down mark had already moved forward, and that kind of threw me off.
Well, you're on medication.
Well, we'll use that as an excuse. And that's an excuse why I didn't know Azer down there.
All right, first and 15. Then a busted play. Mizell is wrapped up for a loss as Darylyn Fenner greeted him in the backfield, and that one looked ugly.
Well, see, what happened that time is your fullback went to the left and the play was called to the right. And Mizell wanted to ride a fullback into the middle, and there was nobody there. No fake when there's nobody there.
Was that the announcer's jinx? Right after I said how crisp they were performing on offense, they have a blown play, but they are moving it well. Second down after the short loss. Second down at about 16. Shot from the ground camera. Mizell has all day, finds an open man at the 20-yard line. And still struggling, but not really gaining out anything after that. That's Marlon Ellis, the junior.
Ellis Tim could not get to where he could turn upfield. He kept getting hit and actually maybe lost a half a yard or two.
Got back to the 20, so it's third down and 13 for the Phantoms. Pretty crisp wind coming across the field here. I don't think they'd want to go for a field goal in the event they don't get a first down here. They might go for it, but they still have a third here. This is McWright, Travis McWright, a huge hole. He's down to the 7-yard line, close to the first down.
Oh, that was just a draw play, Tim. When I mentioned our crew, did I mention Bev Penn on instant replay? I think I may have forgotten her.
Speaking of Bev, here's her action. Here's what she does for us. Great work. And there's McWright. He's going to be a little short of the first down. And that'll bring up fourth down, a decision to be made. It looks like they're going to bring the chains across, but it appeared from the mark that it'll be short by about a half a yard. This is a tough one. I got a bad angle here, Bob.
Oh, you're hedging your better.
A little short.
Yeah, Tim, you're pretty good, I got to admit.
So you do have a big decision to make here.
Oh, you got to go for it. Your extra point got blocked. Your field goal kicker is not as good as they've had in the past. You either go with a quarterback sneak or you give it to your big fullback, a DB. Tim, I don't think that you go I don't think you go wide on this. I think you got to go right up the gut.
Yeah, we'll see. They're going to go for
it. You got a big man in there. Big Stephen Williams is
quarterback keeper. He didn't get it on the initial surge, but he may have gotten it with the second effort. It all depends on the mark.
Now they just went with the quarterback sneak, which is probably the safest play. Let's see where the spot is. Alan Pavlik is saying, it's there, it's there.
It was a good surge by the defensive line initially. They really did stop him up. But then on the second effort, let's see if we can pick it up here on the ground shot. And it is enough for a first down.
Well, he didn't get it by much.
No, like I said, initially they stopped him, but that surge took care of that. All right, first and goal for the Phantoms at the 6. This is McWright, and he tries the left side and picks up yardage to about the 3. As we are down to 25 seconds on the clock. That may have been the last play of the first quarter.
Well, Tim McWright isn't but 5'8", 160. One of those juniors you were talking about on Bill D's team, but he really runs hard, doesn't he?
He is a scooter. They may get this play off. It's going to be close. They're down to 5 seconds, depending on how quickly they line it up. 2, 1, and they will not get the play off. Now, they didn't get penalized. I'm not saying they didn't.
They didn't get it off because time ran out in the clock.
So we've played one at Darling. It's been a dandy so far. It's Hampton 7 and Phoebus 6, but the Phantoms threatening with a second and goal as you watch the last run by McWright to move the ball to the 3-yard line. So they'll change ends of the field. And
well, if the Phantoms can score, Tim, this will be a big boost to them because they will get it off of a turnover. And you know and I know that if you can score points by getting the ball when you're not supposed to get the ball, it really helps you your mindset. And a second thing it does is it rests some of that defense a little bit.
While we have a moment here, I was going to talk about Virginia Tech. Did you watch the game with Syracuse the other night?
Oh, man, was that a game or what?
I just had one point that I wanted to make. I tried to get a hold of ESPN. Remember when Syracuse had a 4th down and the quarterback kept the ball, or maybe it was 3rd down is short, but he kept the ball on a quarterback keeper, and he went into the line just like Mizell did there, but the line pushed him back, and he fell down. They gave him forward progress to give Syracuse a 1st down, as if he was at the goal line and had crossed that plane, but he was not in the grasp of a tackler when he fell backwards.
Well, but they'll always give you your forward progress.
If you're in the grasp of a tackler. Had he gotten away from a tackler and skirted around the end, he would have gotten progress to wherever he went. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't wrapped up. He wasn't in a tackler's grasp.
Yeah, that's a tough call. When I saw that,
But anyway, if anyone else had a point of view on that, and I've been wrong before on the officiating, is McWright is stacked up short of the goal line, and Hampton defense tightening up there.
Well, they sure did, Tim, and that time we saw McWright go to the right side, and it was like Crabbers knew that's where they were going. They were like 4 or 5 Crabbers right there. And right now, Carter Fricklin is probably saying, listen, fellas, when the whistle blows, stop.
That's exactly right. There was a lot of extra tackling and pushing of the ball carrier well after the whistle had blown. And, the Crabbers want to make sure he doesn't break loose and get into the end zone and say, well, I didn't hear the whistle. But I think referee Ficklin was saying, look, you guys heard the whistle. Let him go.
Well, Tim, we got 2 more downs, and they got 3 yards.
3rd down and goal. Play action. Mizell wants to throw. He throws it into a crowd, and it's tipped incomplete. That was a dangerous pass, as there were a couple of defenders all around the receivers. Looked like number 38 was the intended receiver. That was a DB.
And Tim, but it was one of those passes when you're a coach, you're saying, oh no, because it could have been intercepted very, very easily. Watch the play, and he really's throwing it off his back foot, so he really didn't get a whole lot on it. Well, they're going for the field goal.
They are going to. This is Darius Barnes, who will try a 20-yard field goal. And this is long enough, hits the upright and bounces out. So the attempt at the 20-yard field goal is no good. And the ball will come out to the 20. 1st and 10 for the Crabbers. So once again, the Hampton defense does the job after the Phantoms had a 1st and goal inside the 7-yard line.
And it was a nice drive. It was about a about a 40, a
70.
About a 70-some-yard drive to get it down that far, and then to come back empty-handed. And I know the Phantoms feel it a little snake bit because they did move the ball well.
Anyway, just that Syracuse thing. I just wondered if you saw the same thing I did on that play.
Well, but I have seen them before give them that forward wherever they leaned, so.
All right, Carlos Campbell at quarterback. Straight keeper right up the middle. Campbell, who runs well, got away from a tackler, got to the outside. He's got one man he's got to beat. I think he's going to get it. He's got a convoy of blockers, and Campbell will score an 80-yard run after they held at the goal line.
And that was a call quarterback keeper where Campbell just took a step back and then just popped right up the middle.
Boy, that's got to be demoralizing if you just failed to get a score.
Right there, had him right there. That was the play that really broke their back, or the move. He threw a move on a defensive player and just no chance to catch him.
Campbell with excellent speed, and he goes 80 yards after breaking a couple of tacklers. I guess Bill D must have deja vu, because that's that wrapping up that you were talking about in the war game, where they just couldn't contain the runner. They'd make the initial contact but couldn't hold on. So with 10:55 left here in the first half, Hampton strikes quickly with an 80-yard run by Carlos Campbell on a quarterback keeper. Straight run. There was no question that play was a running play from the moment the ball was snapped.
There's a good shot of the Hampton side of the field there, the visitors tonight. This being the homecoming for the Phantoms.
Well, this is our last regular season game. Next Friday night, the regular season will wrap up for these Peninsula District teams. And then, of course, the following Friday will be playoff time. And we've talked a little bit about the playoffs. Hampton, as far as the trends go here, because, of course, an upset here or there could change all of that. But if it goes according to the way it looks, the Hampton would not host a game. They would have to travel and would play probably the number 3 seed. Excuse me, the number 2 seed, because they'll be the 3 seed.
Would be Heritage, and they would travel to Todd Stadium.
Well, and there's still a lot of
yeah. I mean,
ifs
the
and
way it
ands
sits right now, Heritage is number 2.
I thought they were number 1.
Not according to the paper. The power rating has them number 2.
Huh. It's hard to believe with all the quality teams.
Well, it's because the team they played that was non-conference has not got very many wins, and that is
how the power ratings work. All right, at the 15, Boone, and he's out to the 35. So he does a nice job of returning the kick. Maurice Boone gives the Phantoms the ball at the 35-yard line, just where they started last time. Here's the replay of the return. Took it at the 15.
Did a great job of following his blockers and then finding that seam and almost broke it and got caught from behind.
20-yard return for Maurice Boone. So the Phantoms have it again. Unable to score on their second possession. This is their third time, and this is McWright, who is out close to the 39-yard line. That'll be a gain of 4.
Nice block that time by Luke Ely, pulling and doing a little trap block.
Second down and 6 for the Phantoms. The Southside team, I can't remember the Division 5. This is Mizell, and Mizell keeps, and the ball comes loose.
But it Phantoms look like, I don't know if they're going to call it down, but a Phantom did end up with the ball.
Yep.
Good job that time of Mizell following Adibi, the fullback that he faked the ball to. And watch this on the replay. Fakes the ball and said, okay, Adibi, I'll just go follow you. Block somebody for me.
And he got it out to the 48-yard line. A first down for Phoebus. 9:55 left in the half. Phoebus down by 8. Travis McWright picks up good yardage down to the 44-yard line. He picks up about 8 yards.
I tell you, a young man has been very active in that defensive scheme for the Crabbers. Has been number 5, Jimmy Williams.
Gain of 8. Second down and 2. They need to get to the 42-yard line. Ball just short of the 44. Long 2. Pitch to McWright. He's got a DB. DB covers his man. McWright has the first down. A flag
comes in, and that very well could be either holding or a chop block down there. But he had picked up the first down. They pitched the ball deep in the backfield to him.
Watch the replay, and holding is the call, and that will.
Well, that'll be from the point of the foul, Tim.
Yep.
So it'll still be second down. It won't be 2nd and 2, but it'll be 2nd and about 5.
Well, looks like it'll be a little further back than that, Bob.
Well, not too bad. It could have been worse. I mean, the worst thing was that you go all the way back, but at least you still got second down. Looks like, what, about 6 or 7?
Yep. Call it 7. There is the difference, of course, in the professional ball. The holding would just be from the line of scrimmage and back it up. Adibi. And Adibi has close to enough for the first down. If they mark him at the 41, and it looks like they will, that will move the chains.
I tell you, 2 young men that time. Alan Darnell, number 81, great job of wrapping up. And number 15, James Matthews.
Who's that young lady writing over there for you? Your secretary?
That's my secretary.
Secretary?
That's the love of my life, Ruth.
This one goes to Adibi, and he is stopped after a short gain. Might have gotten 1. as the ball is going to be marked just inside the Hampton 40. Clock moving with 8.5 minutes remaining in the first half.
I'm trying to write down some things that I can't write, so I enlisted her, and I promised I would take her out after the ball game.
See, that seems like a pretty good deal. Is she going to cut your meat for you, or?
Yeah, she did tonight, as a matter of fact.
All right, second down after the short gain. Mizell standing in the pocket, can't find anybody, now tries to run with the ball, and that was a mistake as the Crabbers are all over him for a loss back to the 42-yard line.
Well, he did a great job, Tim, of sidestepping and faking out a single tackler, but when he turned, there were 4 other Crabbers coming at him. So
Crabbers always watch the ball.
He makes some nice moves here. Right here, you'll make a good gut out right here.
Oops.
And then,
Oops.
Yeah, well, that happens.
So they lost what they'd gained, third down and 10. Play action, Mizell wants to throw. Blunt is open, the ball tipped in the air. Did he get it? Yes, I think he finally controlled it.
And that's Derek Fenner, number 2.
He batted that ball in the air for a good 10 yards trying to control it.
Well, Tim, they practice on a tip drill. Both teams do that, and that's exactly what Derek was doing.
He was tipping it to himself.
Yeah, he was.
Watch the replay here.
Great job this time. Just overthrown right here, and still hadn't got it.
Still hadn't got it.
Oh, and then he got it.
So the turnovers are even now as each team has intercepted the other. And 7:12 is the time left. 33-yard line is the starting point for the Crabbers from their own 33 after the Derek Fenner interception of Leon Mizell. Mac Jones and Joe Smith are the backfield. Pitch goes to Smith, and Smith is tackled at the 35-yard line after a short gain, and that was Jeremy Blunt who came up to make the stop.
Jeremy Blunt, Tim, plays one of the defensive ends for the Phantoms.
Gain of about 2, second down, and let's call it 8. Both teams have moved the ball well, each team with an interception. And, of course, the Crabbers able to capitalize on their defense as they were able to stop the Phantoms on a 4th and goal. Excuse me, on a 3rd and goal, and they went for the field goal and didn't make it, and now the Crabbers up by 8. Campbell in the grasp, and he is sacked all the way back to the 30-yard line.
And that looks like Maury Pauly, number 15.
That's exactly who it was. He's a senior, 6'1", 190-pounder. And that ball all the way back to the 30. So it'll bring up third down and 13. As you watch the replay, Campbell, who we've already seen and know that he can move with the ball, but that time didn't get away from Pauling.
Maurice says, I remember you, Carlos.
And we're halfway through the second quarter now as we're down to 5:55. Clock moving. Each team has their full complement of timeouts. Campbell wants to pass, and he gets some pressure, steps up, and he is sacked again by that number 10, Jeremy Blunt.
I tell you, Jeremy Blunt really impressing me.
So he's sacked for a loss of about 3, moving the ball back to the 27-yard line, and that'll bring on the kicking team.
But looked like a jailbreak that time with the Phantoms. Everybody kind of anticipated a pass.
Well, I'll tell you where it came from. Mike Dixon, number 12, is the one that really caused the play to collapse because he came from that outside position and forced the play up into the middle, and Campbell had no place to go. We've got we got flags and whistles. The punt was a play that won't count as we've got a stoppage of play before the kick was away.
And usually, Tim, what happens is you have movement. Illegal substitution.
Too many players on the field for the Phantoms. Now, that will not give the Crabbers a first down. They'll have a 4th down and long still.
And a lot of times that doesn't necessarily mean you have 12 men on the line of scrimmage in the game. But when they substitute for you, you don't come out immediately. And that is that's the call there, too.
Illegal substitution. All right, so they'll do it again. This time Campbell will be kicking from about his 20. He gets a high, nice-looking kick. Good hang time. Takes a Hampton roll, and it'll be touched at the 32-yard line. So that's where the Phantoms will get it. Down 14-6.
Well, I tell you, kick the ball that high, you stop any chance of a run back.
4:50 on the clock here in the first half. 36-yard kick and no return by Carlos Campbell. So each of these possessions, oddly enough, Bob, have all been right around the 30 to 35-yard line. It's almost uncanny each drive except for after the missed field goal. This is Mizell, and Mizell has the corner, and he will be driven out of bounds, but not until he gets a first down at the 46-yard line.
Well, actually, he ran right into Derek Fenner, Tim, because there was nowhere for him to go.
All right, we'll return to Darling Stadium with the conclusion of our first half after this brief timeout. Back to the live action. The pass completed across midfield to the 46 or 47-yard line, depending on where they mark his forward progress.
And that was number 2, Tim. That's Phillip Brown.
The young sophomore. So they mark it between the 47 and the 46. It's a gain of about 8. Second down in a pair. Need to get to the 44. This is McWright. He is hit in the backfield and will not get the first down. Jimmy Williams coming over to make the stop.
And I tell you, I'm impressed with the way Jimmy Williams is playing defense tonight.
So a 1-yard gain for McWright, and that'll bring up third down and a yard. Ball squarely marked at the 45. 3:40 left on the clock. In the first down department, Phoebus with 11 in the game, Hampton with 4. And we've got flags. Looks like Harris might have gone to a 3-point stance and then stood up. Let's see.
Well, an end can do that.
Yeah.
But he was moving out like he was shifting out. Well, he can do that. But if they say he stood up in a manner that would cause the defense to come offside, then they can call it a penalty.
Now let's see the officials huddling here. There seems to be a debate. But you're right. An end can set and then reset. But it can't simulate a
move,
a play. In other words,
right. But you know, if you do that unintentionally, then you could turn and act like you're going to shift out. So we'll see what he's going to do.
Looks like they're going to
no flag,
and this will be an example of an inadvertent flag. The other ones aren't, but this one was an inadvertent flag. Disregard. Thank you, Mr. Ficklin. So that was a case where the line judge may have been a premature tossing of the penalty flag, so there's no penalty. Third down and 1. Good job of the officials getting together and getting the right play. This is McWright, and he does appear to have enough for the first down, forward progress to about the 43, and that'll do it. Got just enough. So the Phantoms keep the drive alive. They have all 3 of their timeouts remaining.
That would have been a big penalty. That would have put them 6 instead of 1.
Here's McWright's first down attempt. Again, good job by the Phoebus offensive line to move the defense back enough, and McWright got it. 43-yard line, first down. 3:02 in the quarter. Mizell keeps it. Right end, he's got the corner, cuts back. 30, 25,
whoa!
All the way down to the 25.
He must have air brakes, Tim, because he came to a complete stop and cut back and picked up another 5 to 8 yards.
They'll mark it at the 25-yard line, and they'll move the chains again. Watch this on the replay. This is a straight run following Adibi. Right here. Stops, cuts it back, and then really burst forward, as you said, Bob, 5 or 6 yards.
Well, number 55, Chris Perry, finally hit him there at the end.
McWright. And McWright is down to the 21-yard line, a gain of 4. Phantoms moving now 2.5 minutes as the clock becomes a factor, but they do have the 3 timeouts remaining, have not chosen to use one at this point. Wide out to the near side, that is DJ Parker. And in the slot is Marlon Ellis. High formation, Adibi and McWright. And on the draw play, this is McWright, and McWright is down to the 10.
I tell you, he shows a lot of speed. And big 77, Leonard Johnson, and if he hadn't got a hold of him, Tim, he may have gone in for the touchdown. Watch this. Johnson does a great job of coming over and making the tackle.
They mark him at the 11. 16 times he's picked the ball up from the quarterback and 77 yards. Mizell, as he gets to the 7, and he is stacked up rather rudely by the left side of the defensive line.
I tell you, both of these quarterbacks are doing a great job tonight.
Clock continues to move, a minute 40, and the clock running. Watch the replay here, Mizell, and he is really smacked hard when he got to the 7.
We got a timeout, Tim.
So now the Phantoms will use their first timeout of the half.
All right.
Tim, I do remind the fans that we will pick a player of the game from each one of these teams, and they will receive a plaque and a shirt. The plaque comes from Engraving Inc., and the shirt comes from the Islander Sporting Good. I want to thank David Buckwalder and John Roberts.
And we want to mention Zooms, too. You know, the stock has plummeted. Now that I'm trying to lose some weight, the Hydenwood store has laid off 3 employees just this last week alone.
Hell, somebody told me the other day they went in and said, "Do you have your Halloween stuff up?" And they said, "What do you mean?" They said, "Well, there's this stool over here. It's got cobwebs." And he said, No, Tim hadn't been in sitting on his stool." And I said, "Oh, is that the reason?"
He hasn't been in, but I do stop there to get my premium Citgo gasoline. But I gotta walk right past those potato wedges and the fried chicken.
I'll have to call David Allen and tell him why the drop in the profits out there.
The Hydenwood store is suffering. All right, second down. Phantoms, Adibi, and he is going to get to about the 4. Clock will continue to move with a minute 20. Plenty of time for the Phantoms. Ideally, if they can, they'd like to score with just a couple of seconds left.
And Darnell Allen again, Tim, number 81. Great job.
What I should say is they just like to score. They don't care how much time is left
That's
on the
right.
clock.
They don't care about the clock. They got 2 downs, and they want to get it into the end zone.
They can get a first down without scoring, but it would be very close. Mizell will keep it, and he will not get it. He is stacked up at about the 3.
And you see Jimmy Williams, number 5, is one of them, and the big Stephen Williams, number 70, at the bottom of that pile.
So now you've got decision time. It's 4th down and about, well, let's call it a long 2.
Lawrence Callis is also in there.
And again, they will not go for it this time. They will once again try a field goal and letting the clock move. This will again be a 21-yard field goal attempt, as it'll be marked at the 11. Kick is up. It's long enough, and it is no good. Wide left. So the Phantoms twice now have come away with nothing after a fine-looking drive. Missed a 20-yard and now a 21-yard field goal attempt wide left.
And he really got a good foot into it. He just hooked it a little.
Had the distance, no problem. And of course, we don't have an angle from behind the end zone, but it clearly was to the left. So the Phantoms take it down the field, do an excellent job of controlling it, and come up short after, again, the Hampton defense denied them the end zone. And the Crabbers want to just take a knee. Now the Phantoms don't know whether they're going to take a knee or not, and they clearly play defense until told otherwise. Phantoms were across the line on time, and the clock runs, and that is the end of the first half. A very interesting first half. Both teams moved the ball extremely well.
Well, Phoebus didn't punt.
No, and the Phantoms had 3 opportunities in the red zone and missed 2 field goals. And at halftime, it's Hampton 14 and Phoebus 6. We'll return to Darling Stadium for the third quarter of action after this brief timeout. Back here at halftime, the teams have returned to the field, and we're moments away from the start of the second half. Halftime statistics for you, compliments of Bob Statman-Killen. For the Hampton High Crabbers, they had 12 carries for 110 yards, 80 of those coming on the touchdown run by Carlos Campbell. Derek Fenner had a grab for 58 yards, which set up that first touchdown. Only 1 of 2 completions and a pick for Carlos Campbell. Of course, the one they did complete was the big one that set up that touchdown. Total yardage in the first half, 131 yards for the Crabbers. They had 4 first downs, did not fumble the ball, and they were penalized twice for 30 yards. Scoring, Joe Smith, 13 yards to cap that initial drive, came at the 9:31 mark of the first period, and then Carlos Campbell's 80-yard run at 10:55 of the second quarter. And their extra points were put up on the board by
number 1,
Aaron Whitehead. So he got both of those. For the Phantoms, they rushed the ball 30 times for 162 yards. Travis McWright, the leading rusher, was 17 carries for 79 yards. Leon Mizell completed 4 of 9, did have 1 pick, each team with 1 turnover in the first half, and a total of 35 yards passing. For the Phantoms, total yardage, 189 yards. They registered 13 first downs, fumbled the ball once, did not lose that, and they were penalized 3 times for 15 yards. And their score, of course, Xavier Adibi, 14 yards. The extra point was no good. And, of course, they also had 2 missed field goal attempts in the first half.
The choice to receive at this end. Good luck, captains. Have a second half.
And we're happy to tell you that we've got the microphone malady corrected for referee Carter Ficklin. And hopefully we'll be able to hear him loud and clear.
I think we will be able to. Tim, again, we're going to pick a player of the game from both of these teams, and that player we pick will receive a plaque and a shirt. The plaque comes from Engraving Inc. They're located at Tab Square on Route 17. For all your engraving needs, contact Jim at 596-8850. Dave Buckwald is owner. The shirt comes from the Islander Sporting Goods, and they're located in Pocosin. They can meet all your sports needs with a full line of athletic goods, both team and individual, equipment and uniforms, plus they have screen printing. Call Dave Chubb at 868-8467. John Roberts is the owner.
And we do really want to thank these guys. They have been doing this for years. And,
years and years. We do appreciate
just
it.
Gloss over it and give them verbal credit, but they really
understand,
do contribute.
They donate the shirts and the screen printing and the plaques, and these are nice plaques and shirts. In fact, we did one all-star game up at Lynchburg one year, and they introduced the parents, and a mother and a father of one of the Hampton Crabbers each had on a player of the game shirt. So
they're really appreciated by the players. These kids really like getting that recognition, and so we encourage you to support those 2 fine organizations. Give them some business. They have an excellent product, and they deserve to get some business out of it.
They're giving back to the community a little bit too. They're both from the Hampton area. Dave was over at Bethel High School, and John Roberts was at Kicktan High.
All right, we are underway as the Phantoms will get the ball to start the second half. This one taken at the 14-yard line. And all the way out to the 35-yard line. Nice return by Maurice Boone, number 8.
Number 42, Terry Gray, is the one that made the tackle, but he put a nice move on, did Maurice Boone. Watch the replay here, Tim. And watch the nice move he puts right up here, right there. He would have definitely lost about 20 yards on that return had he not made that nice move.
From the 35.
Backfield looks the same.
Deeby and McWright. This is McWright. And he is across the 35 to about the 36-yard line. Let's see where they mark it exactly. Looks like he had 2, but they're going to move it back and say his knee went down a little earlier than that. So give him a yard on the play. 2nd down and 9.
Well, Turtle Fenner, number 44, playing one of those linebacker spots, just went underneath everybody and hit him right at the ankles.
Phantoms moved the ball in the first half, but only came away with the 1 touch. On the option, Mizell will keep it, and he will get to about the 39-yard line.
Now we'll see what kind of adjustments both of these coaching staffs did during the first half, because both of these teams moved the ball right well. You said Hampton had 110 yards, and I think Phoebus 160-some yards on the rushing the ball. So I know both of the defensive units want to do a little bit better. We have a timeout, number 51 for the Phantoms. Looks like he's shaking up just a little bit. That's
Mario.
Eric Edmonds.
So Eric Edmonds will check out, and we'll get the action back underway from the 39-yard line. And we talk about both teams move the ball, but that Hampton defense always tough when it gets down inside the red zone. This is going to be very close to the first down, depending on the spot.
Well, he puts him right on the line, Tim. He's going to be just a wee bit short, isn't he?
It looks like he's going to be about, well, they're going to bring the chains in, but it looks like, I'm going to guess, finally mark the ball down.
Yeah, because
he's
he had to cross
to be
it.
about 4 inches short, because he needs to get on or across the 45. Saw a glimpse of the booth up here. Ruth in the booth.
We have Ruth in the booth.
And it's going to be short.
Well, Tim, you're right. It's a couple 3 inches, and that's it.
I keep telling Carter, just call up here, ask me, and I'll tell him.
Well, but see, he can talk to you, but he can't hear you.
That's what he said. He says, I can't hear you. All right, it is 4th down and decision time for the Phantoms. It would appear if they are going to go for it, they may try the hard count.
Well, he might try the hard count or maybe go real fast.
Yep. Quick snap wouldn't be a bad play, but this is a crucial position on the field. Their 45-yard line, they get it. Mizell gets the first down.
Yeah, all he had to do was cross the 45, and he did.
So they'll mark it at the 46-yard line, and a big gamble early here in the third quarter. In a close game, it's only an 8-point difference. Could be a lot closer if the Phantoms had been able to capitalize on the this is how Andy spells Phoebus? We can't tell you everything that Scotty just said. Mizell sacked in the backfield on a good defensive effort by 32, Lawrence Callis.
I'm not going to touch that one.
We'd probably
watch Lawrence Callis right there come in untouched.
If we repeated what Scotty just said,
he played a defensive end. He said the S went.
This would be our last game of the season, and probably for us.
Well, he said one end went with the other end.
Yeah,
right.
I'm not even going to get into it. Screen pass for a DB, and that's not going to make it anywhere. Beautiful job of reading that play.
That was Nolan Cutler, number 12, Tim.
He had that one smelled out from the get-go, and that's another big loss for the Phantoms. So after getting that first down, the Phantoms are going in the opposite direction. And that brings up 3rd down and about 22 for the first down. Watch the replay here. This swing pass out here, Nolan Cutler just knew where to go.
Well, and
right
not
there.
only that, but Tim, he made a great tackle. Hit a DB right around the knees, just took his legs right out from under him.
3rd down and a mile. Mizell wants to throw. He does. Completed it at the 46-yard line. And that is, again, number 7, DJ Parker, but that will be 11 yards short of a first. So all they did was get back the yardage they had lost, and that'll mean the Phantoms will bring on the kicking team. 7.
DJ Parker, 7.
Well, he actually, this is the first punt for the Phantoms, isn't it?
I do believe it is. I don't remember them. And now they are slow to get the 11th man on the field. That's Parker, but he's there. Campbell is back deep. And the kick is a good high kick taken without a fair catch at the 24-yard line, and that was a mistake.
The Phantoms were ready that time. They had the field covered to the top side, and we got a couple flags coming.
Several late flags coming down, and I won't even speculate. Greg Narvid with a nice punt. That was an excellent job. A good high kick, and the coverage was good. We've got an unsportsmanlike penalty coming up, but I'm not sure at this point against whom. Although you might suspect, well, I won't even go there. Let's see. Listen up.
After the play was over, there was a dead ball, unsportsmanlike penalty, taunting against Phoebus. Be 15 yards in a first.
So a very silly mistake.
Can I ask what happened?
He's been warned in the first half. He was warned before we started the game, and now we've got him. He's right up in the kid's face doing this.
Hey, they both were talking now. They both were talking.
Well, we're letting them talk, so you can hear the exchange between the official and Bill Deep. And you can hear what the official is saying in this talk, and they're just not going to allow it.
Well, and they warned him the first half is what I heard him say.
So a costly penalty.
Oh, Tim, that takes a clear act to the 35.
Penalty against a member of the Phoebus team, 15 yards, first down.
So instead of back at the 20, they move it out to the 35. So you just can't give cheap yardage like that up to a good team like Hampton. Kids get a little exuberant in their successes, but you just can't taunt the other team. Just not right. Smith, and he'll only get about a yard. Try and find out who made the stop. Looked like number 54. That is Alan Pavlik.
No, it's not. It's 51, Tim.
51. I'm sorry, I couldn't see the whole number.
Yeah, Eric Edmonds.
So they'll give him about a yard. Let's call it 2nd down and 9. Clock moving with 7:10 left in the third quarter. Hampton 14 and Phoebus 6. The pitch to Smith, and Smith gets the corner and lunges to about the 43-yard line, where it'll bring up a 3rd down and about 2.
And hanging on for dear life was Leon Mizell, number 5. He had a hold of him and wasn't going to let him go, but he did pick up enough yardage to bring up
almost 8.
I was going to say, because they didn't gain much yard on the first one, so
one
it had
of
to be
the younger fans in attendance with his little gold and white football they were passing out after the second half ceremonies. So a big 3rd down for the Crabbers. Looks like Campbell might be changing the play. Ooh, oh my goodness, what a stick. Where did he come from? Was that Harris?
87.
That is Harris. He was in the backfield. Shaheed Harris met Smith at about the same time. Watch this hit.
He playing that tackle spot, Tim. Nobody touched him.
Watch this. Boom. Smith thrown for a loss back to the 41-yard line, and that'll bring up 4th down and 4 as Shaheed Harris was in the backfield almost with the handoff. What a nice defensive play by Harris.
Well, he saw something that told him that he could get in there and stop that play.
Gracious, he was there. High snap, but Campbell is able to get the kick away. And this one will go over the head of Mizell and take a great Hampton bounce all the way down to the 13-yard line. So A good kick with no return.
As a coach, you hate to see a punt hit the ground.
Oh, that thing went 15, 20 yards after it hit the ground. Get Bob to tell me how many yards that punt was. 45 yards and no return. So the Phantoms will get the ball back, but they'll be in their own territory, deep in their own territory, at the 13-yard line. 5:28 left here in a scoreless third quarter. If you joined us late, Joe Smith started the scoring on the very first drive for Hampton. They took the opening kickoff and drove 84 yards. Smith's 13-yard run was the touchdown, and the extra point by Whitehead was good. Then a DB returned the favor for the Phantoms with a 14-yard run. The extra point was off of the goalpost, no good. As McWright breaks into the open, and McWright is out across the 30-yard line. That'll be a first down for the Phantoms. And to round out the scoring, Campbell, with 10:55 to go in the half, took the ball 80 yards after a missed Phoebus field goal, and he scored the second touchdown, and the extra point was good, and that's where we stand with 5:15 to go in the third quarter, 14-6 in favor of Hampton.
Well, linebacker Mac Jones that time saved extra yards being picked up by McWright.
He just had one man to beat, didn't he?
That's right, and Mac was wrapped him up.
So Travis McWright right at the 100-yard mark tonight. First down, and it's McWright again, and he won't have the same success this time as he'll get about a yard.
He ran into number 32 that time, Tim. That's Lawrence Callis, who has been playing a good game on defense.
Got a lot of good candidates for our players of the game. Bruce putting a little check mark. When you repeat a name, the guy gets a check mark. And that last carry, in fact, does give McWright 100 yards on the night. Not the first time he's been in that elite group. Mizell gives to McWright, and McWright has good yardage to the 39-yard line.
Tim, it looked like his feet kind of slipped out from under him as he was trying to make a cut that time.
A little bit awkward, but I'm glad to see he got up without any limping or anything. He looked like he very strangely moved there at the end. They marked the ball just short of the 40, and it brings up a third down and a long 2 as they need to get the ball to and past the 42-yard line. About 2.5 yards to go. A DB and McWright behind Mizell. Mizell on the option, just gets it away to McWright, but that's not going to get the first down as the defense had that one read pretty well, and it looked like Turtle Fenner slowed that one down, caused it to be turned back in.
Well, him and Jimmy Williams and another crabber were there as we watched the replay, and they were just, that play didn't have a chance. It looked like a jailbreak.
Did a good job of turning it inside where the defense was set up to stop it. So Narvid, after not punting in the first half, will try his second punt. And this one is again a nice looking punt. And again, Campbell does not take the fair catch. He's got the ball. He's got some running room. He's got a block. And a penalty flag down in the area where that block occurred. And I don't know that block was it, but he's got a penalty flag.
That's clear back at the 44.
Yeah. So looks like the Phantoms.
A nice run by Campbell. Phantoms
will dodge a bullet here. We'll see if we can pick it up here. Here's Campbell. Right there. I think that was right where it happened. So the beautiful return by Campbell is going to be wiped out by the block. Flipping against the Crabbers.
During the run back, there was Clifford against the receiving team, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So there haven't been a lot of penalties in this game, but there have been some big penalties in this game. Instead of the ball in your opponent's end of the field at the 25 or 30, you're all the way back to your own 29-yard line.
One thing that I've noticed, Tim, is the adjustment both of these coaches have made. We're seeing more punts than we did the first half.
Yep, defenses are playing well. Not that they didn't play well in the first half, because it was a situation where both teams moved the ball well, but didn't score all that often. The Crabbers scored their second touchdown on the very first play after the missed field goal, so they didn't have the ball very long.
Eric Edmonds, a good job that time in tackling Joe Smith.
Yeah, they've really clamped down on Smith, too. He hasn't gotten nearly the kind of yardage that he's enjoyed recently. They've marked it at the Hampton 31, 2:25 left in the third quarter. Hampton leading by 8. Double wides to the right side. Pitch goes to Smith, and Smith will not get back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, I tell you again, Jeremy Blunt back there, Tim, to trip him up.
So the Phantom defense coming up big here, and it brings up 3rd and long. And now we've got an official's timeout. Got another player shaken up, same player as we had a little while ago. That looks like Edmonds.
Well, Edmonds came off limping earlier and went back in and did a great job, Tim. So they're playing hurt.
That's just like you.
Yeah, if they can play hurt, I can sure sit up here and talk hurt.
Clock is winding down in the third quarter, minute 49. 29-yard line, 3rd and 10 for the Crabbers. Big clipping penalty on that last punt return. Campbell, play action, has the ball, got a man open, completes the pass at the 43-yard line, and that'll be enough for a first down.
Is that Fenner?
Can't see yet. Yep, that's who it is. It's Derek Fenner. So he completes the pass. Watch the replay.
Nice fake and a nice block that time by Joe Smith.
So Campbell completes the pass for the first down at the 42-yard line. That's just the first down coming with the 1:10 mark of the third quarter for the Crabbers. Just one first down here in the second half. Again, that play that Campbell scored on, he scoots out to close to midfield.
Well, that must be a call that he can make on his own when he sees that the front of that line overshifts or something and gives him an angle, and he takes it and picks up good yardage. We saw him pick up about 80.
80, that's good yardage, right? That time he gained about 8 yards on it.
Well, so he's averaging what?
7 yards.
44 yards a carry.
Not too shabby. 49-yard line. They need to get to the Phoebus 48. Second down and about 3. And into the middle of the line. Not much happening there. Might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. Mike Lewis in on the stop. Ball carrier was Joe Smith. Also, Harris gets up off of that pile. Shaheed Harris, who made that beautiful tackle a while ago, and that was the last play of the third quarter as the clock winds down, and we are at 0-0 on the board. So we've played 3. This game is still very much in doubt, and quite frankly, had the Phantoms not lost to Warwick last week, this game could have been a huge game with implications for the playoffs. And I think if you're Bill D, you got to be pleased with the way his team has played, coming off of what was a pretty weak performance against the Raiders.
He wasn't real satisfied. And I talked to Bill prior to the game about that, and I said it wasn't that his defense wasn't there. They were in the backfield. They would hit the runner after short game, but they didn't wrap up, Tim, and they allowed him to pick up extra yardage, and that's what beat him.
All right, let's go to the sidelines and Ron ESPN Baton.
You're watching the Phoebus Homecoming on WHCS TV 46.
Ron gets all the tough duty.
I was going to say, he really has the tough duty.
Well, each week now, the last several weeks, we've been highlighting the cheerleaders between the third and fourth quarter. And the Phantoms are right there with the best. They've all looked good. Kickintan, Hampton, Phoebus, Bethel. Fourth quarter, midfield. Joe Smith stacked up.
Oh, nowhere.
Nothing.
I tell you, that was doomed from the beginning. Big 78 and 87. Oh.
Harris again. Needed 2.
And
got back
Littlejohn
to the line of scrimmage. In fact, didn't do that. Lost a half a yard.
Michael Littlejohn, Tim, great job. He's been playing well all evening.
11.
All right, now what do? 4th and a long 2.
Well, see, you go with it. Butch Harper, one of the school board members, in the center of your screen.
Crabbers come up, appearing as though they were going. We've seen them do the hard count before. And they do run the play. It's a Campbell pitch to Smith. He's got the corner. He may go. One man to beat. Look at the speed on Smith. He just blew right past the defense into the end zone from 40. Check that, 51 yards out. Late flag. Excessive celebration, which I don't like that flag.
Well, Tim, what happened that time is Phoebus was all inside to stop the play inside. There was nobody outside. If you watch the replay, there was nobody outside to stop the pitch. Watch this.
After the touchdown, there was a dead ball, unsportsmanlike, against Hampton. It'll be 15 yards. The try for point will be attempted from the 18-yard line. Touchdown is good.
See, I just don't like that call, and that's just my own personal opinion. They didn't taunt anybody. They went into the end zone and celebrated. Excessive celebration.
Excessive celebration.
Yeah, right.
How can you
Whatever.
celebrate? How can you celebrate it and it be excessive?
I don't know. It's just one of those things.
I mean,
really, take it to someone who cares, right, Scotty? I didn't even see anything that was excessive. Come on.
Hampton, after that one, was 20 rushes, 174, Phoebus 39, 194.
In the game now, after that last rush, Hampton 20 carries, 174 yards. Phoebus 39 carries, 194 yards. This would be like a long field goal. This is from the 25, a 35-yard extra point try, no good.
hooked it a little to the left.
But nonetheless, the Crabbers, and that happens, you know, that's one of those things where you're up there to stop the 1 yard or 2 yard run. And once you get around the corner, Smith showed great speed. He really turned it on.
He really did, Tim. But what made that play work was nobody had the pitch man. You always defensing the triple option. You'll have somebody on the fullback, somebody on the quarterback, and then somebody watching the pitch man.
Player that scored.
No contain. So after the excessive celebration, which quite frankly, I think if you're going to penalize, you should do it on the kickoff. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
Well, it would be hard, it would be worse on the kickoff.
Yeah. Look at there, one of the youngsters in the crowd.
He's not too happy.
I don't. Yeah.
You don't
Scotty,
think
you were
Ron
scared?
scared him, do you?
Poor kid's looking at Ron. That's why he's crying. That's what Scotty said. Ron. All right. Crabbers will kick it off. They've got a little breathing room now, as again, we can't emphasize enough. Crabbers cannot afford to lose this game. If they were to lose this game, it would probably knock them out of the playoffs. Probably. And again, there's a lot of other factors, so they know the importance of this victory. Joe Smith, 51 yards. I mean, he put on the afterburners, and nobody got close to him after he hit the 20-yard line. Aaron Whitehead will tee it up and kick it away. And this one is looks like it's going to go out of bounds. It will. So the ball will come out automatically to the 35-yard line for the Phantoms. They don't even have to do anything. Although I guess they could refuse it if they wanted to, but they're just foolish to, I think. And there you see the scoreboard, 11:06, the time remaining. And we want to mention that Park Lawn Wood Funeral Home, where the manager is Nancy Staten, is a fourth quarter supporter of high school sports here on Channel 46. They're conveniently located at the Hampton Center Parkway and North Armstead Avenue. For a tour of their brand new facility, give them a call or stop by. The phone number is 827-4670. That's Park Lawn Wood Funeral Home. All right, the Phantoms now down by 14, and Mizell is dropped to the backfield on a nice defensive play by Chris Perry, number 55. You've called his name more than a couple of times,
Yes,
Bob.
we have.
If he was playing for Ohio State, his helmet would have a lot of Buckeyes on it. Watch the replay there, a 2-yard loss on the play. Back him up to the 33-yard line. This is when Hampton gets really tough. You give him a double, a lead of 2 touchdowns, and that defense just gets rock hard. And there's Carlos Campbell, but the pass completed in the middle of that maze of defensive players. I don't know how that ball got caught.
And Carlos was going to knock the ball down, and it was Big Harris, I believe, that got the ball, wasn't it, or not?
I could not make it out.
It may have been number 9 who was down there, and that's Marlon Ellis.
I don't think Harris was there, but that would have. You're right. He's a big kid. They mark it at the 44, 3rd down and a yard. And a DB gets the ball, and he gets the first down to the 48. DB coming back off of an ankle injury. We saw him hobbled and not play very much a couple of games ago. They mark it just short of the 48-yard line. It is a first down for the Phantoms. 9:50 and the clock moving. Hampton by 14. Mizell wants to throw. It's incomplete as he overthrew Phillip Brown.
He's been high on that pass to the flat. Now we got a flag.
A real late flag, and that's a sideline violation.
And it may be the sideline violation.
Now, don't they usually give them a warning first, or maybe they've already warned them?
Sideline warning against Hampton. The next violation will be a 5-yard penalty.
Okay, so that was their warning. They indicated the warning by
second down.
All right, 2nd and 10 for the Phantoms. On the option, Mizell, and he is stopped.
Boy, he ran into somebody, just
a wall. He ran into a wall of red and white at the 50-yard line.
And amongst number 77, I've called his name a couple times. That's Leonard Johnson,
also,
just a junior.
Also getting up off the pile was Stephen Williams, the little guy, 6'2", 320.
Stephen Williams.
So they've marked it right on the midfield stripe. It's 3rd down and 8 for the Phantoms. Crucial down here. Mizell play action, wants to throw, throws, and he almost got it to DJ Parker. Parker had it for a moment and couldn't hold on to it as Derek Fenner came up to hit him. So that'll bring up 4th and long for the Phantoms. Greg Narvid didn't punt in the first half, but he's been busy here in the second. Watch the replay. It was right on the mark. Good pass by Mizell.
And that would have been a first down.
Yep. Narvid will have to come on and kick. Clock did stop with the incomplete pass. 8:59 left in regulation. Campbell back deep to receive the punt. High snap. Narvid is able to get it and get it away. Beautiful
nice
spiraling kick. This time Campbell backs away from the ball, and it'll be downed at the 19-yard line by the Phantoms. 31-yard punt with no return. So the Crabbers with a 14-point lead, 8:48 on the clock. Both teams have all of their timeouts remaining. Crabbers will start from their 19. We've talked a little bit about the playoffs and things coming up. Whether or not we will have coverage of a future game here somewhat depends on where that game is and who might be doing it. There is the possibility that if it's on the south side, we will do the game, but there's a possibility that if another organization on the south side is able to do the game, then we would have that coverage for you. We would just take their game coverage, much to yours and my disappointment. If I can speak for you.
Yeah, you can speak for me.
Campbell took it on the play that went 80 yards early in the ball game. That time he only got about 2 yards. Second down and 8. Scary.
It really is.
Now I'm talking about the picture Bob Killen was showing me.
Oh, would he look at you?
It was his Halloween picture. It looked just like him.
There's Joe Smith.
Smith, oh, what a nice move. He's out to the 40-yard line. First down.
Well, I tell you, if it hadn't been for number 2, Philip Brown, he would have gone all the way.
Got 18 yards on the play. They mark him at the 40, and that'll move the chains. That's exactly what Hampton wants to accomplish right now. They've got 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and now a timeout is being called.
14 for 101 yards.
14 carries for 101 yards for Mr. Smith. So the Phantoms will use a timeout here.
Well, they got to stop the Crabbers. That's number one thing. They got to get the ball back, and Tim, they got to get 2 scores, and they can't have 2 14-point scores. They're going to, well, they could have. They could, kick the extra point 2 times and tie the game. But they have not had very good luck kicking field goals or extra points tonight. But the first thing they got to do is stop the Crabbers, either force a turnover or force them to punt.
Well, they do need 2 scores. The missed point on the try for each team has kept it at a 2-touchdown difference. Got to get the ball back first. Can't score without the ball. At the 40, first down. Phoebus used one of their timeouts. They have 2 remaining. Campbell gives to Smith, and he is out to another first down at the 49-yard line of Phoebus.
Tim, he just gave a limp leg to one of the tacklers that time.
What a beautiful little child in the audience there. She's, hiya, how you doing?
And she's enjoying this game. She's not even enjoying bouncing.
That last first down, by the way, was only the 8th first down by the Crabbers, but they've done a good job of moving the ball when they needed to. And Campbell bounces to the outside. Hole was clogged up, and he got yardage out to the 44-yard line. Looked like he'd be stopped at the line of scrimmage. Big Stephen Williams slow to get up, number 70. Some of the fans here some of them starting to make their ways to the exit.
A little early yet, but.
Well, cameraman enjoying some of the more attractive members of the audience.
Well, it's like you said, Ron ESPN Baden has a real tough job.
That's right. Second down and 6 after the 4-yard gain. Smith's got it, and he's got another first down and just about broke it. And again, that was a touchdown-saving tackle by the aforementioned
Philip Brown.
If he hadn't dragged Smith down, Smith might have gone. One of Hampton's finest here watching the crowd. Clock continues to move. Another fresh set of downs. So this is the only thing that Hampton might be doing wrong here is getting too much yardage on each carry. They'd like to run some time off the clock.
Well, you get close enough to score to kick a field goal, Tim. That can't be bad.
Campbell, by the way, averaging 21.2 yards each time he's carried the ball tonight. Smith, again. Do we have a total on Smith for the game, Bob?
Tim, Smith really didn't start running until about this fourth quarter, but he's really picked it up. But he slipped that time trying to make a cut.
17 for 129 yards.
17 for 129 for Mr. Smith. There's Bunny. Trying to beat the crowd out of the parking lot. Ball marked at the 27-yard line, second down and 3. Clock becoming a major factor now as we approach the 5.5-minute mark. And again, Smith gets the call, and he is to the 25-yard line. That'll be very close to a first down, depending on the mark.
Mike Dixon again making a tackle.
This might really test my my eagle eye here, Bob. This is going to be really a tough one. This is without a net now.
Without a net.
Without a net. I think he got that one by the nose of the ball. We're talking the white ring at the tip of that football as we see some of the young fans here. Let's see how they stretch the chains out. It'll make me look bad here, Carter. Yes, sir. Nose of the ball.
No, Tim, you got to buy a whole football.
Oh, you got a big nose.
Is it Jimmy Durante?
Jimmy Durante first down. Those of you in the audience who don't know who that is.
That was the man they used to call the
The
Schnoz.
schnoz, that's right. All right, fresh set of dance. Yeah. Mrs. What is it? Good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. Boy, we're really showing our age now.
Only older fans would appreciate that.
Back up the old folks truck. Back the bus up, I'm ready. 25-yard line, and the clock moving now. 5:12 left in the fourth quarter. Campbell with the keeper, and Campbell gets about 4. Well, Bob, player of the game time. Let's see how many had the right number of Buckeyes next to their to the name.
I tell you, you go to Phoebus, you got to look at Adibi and Mizell, Maurice Boone, Luke Ely, Jeremy Blunt, Maurice Pauling, Mike Dixon, Philip Brown, DJ Parker, Eric Edmonds.
You just
to
named
name
the
a few.
entire team. What's
well, no, I didn't. But I mean, that was just a few that caught our eyes. On Hampton, you got to look at Carlos Campbell, Darylin Fenner, Turtle.
That's right. Don't get him the wrong name.
And of course, his brother Derek Fenner, Jimmy Williams, I think, played an excellent game. Darnell Allen, Lawrence Callis, great job tonight. Stephen Williams, Mac Jones, Christopher Perry.
And while you and I are discussing this, the Crabbers run for another first down.
That's going to be tough.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll pick the Phoebus, and if you want to pick the Hampton, is that or vice versa? You just tell me.
Whatever you say.
Whatever you want. Again, I want to emphasize this. We try to spread it around, so sometimes we've got repeat winners, and clearly there's a couple of players.
Well, I haven't mentioned Joe Smith or McCright.
Right.
They have both gotten it this year. Both
Naked
have had a
bootleg by Carlos. I'm in the end zone. Campbell might have been the exclamation mark. Be careful about that excessive celebration. Now they're going to kneel down, which that is acceptable, I hope.
Yep.
Carlos Campbell.
8 carries for 103 yards.
What was the length of that last one? 14 yards. So Carlos Campbell with his second touchdown, this one from 13 yards out.
Well, 3:44 to go in the game, just kind of sealed it.
Oh, yeah. Extra point try is up and good. So Hampton now with a comfortable lead, 21-point difference with 3:44 to go, and they will improve to 8-1, and Phoebus will fall to 6-3. Yeah, and I tell you, after looking over our list of candidates here, Bob, and there's a real good selection here, as you mentioned. Blount, Ely, Adibi, Mizell, McWright, obviously, with a tremendous night. I'm going to pick Leon Mizell as my player of the game. Did a good job on both sides of the ball, but he directed this attack tonight. It was a good-looking offensive show by the Phantoms, but every time they got in that red zone, the Hampton defense would just shut them down.
Well, it sure did. And I'm going with one of the defensive players for the Crabbers, and that's number 32, Lawrence Callis. I think he's just done an outstanding job along with the rest of that defensive unit for the Crabbers tonight.
Always tough to recognize all the good defensive players because, they don't score the touchdowns as a rule and they don't carry the ball. And, the other players get that recognition. But I guarantee you the coaches know the value of the good defense.
There's no doubt. And the ones that we really don't get to say much about, and that's your offensive lineman.
Yep. Short kick. Maurice Boone got around the corner and goes out of bounds, but not until he's all the way down into Hampton territory. 48-yard line, or 40. Let's see where they mark him out. 46 looks like. So the Phantoms, as you watch the replay of the return, directing the return, and then he cut it back the other way. It looked like he wanted to go to his left and then decided, nope, I might be able to go to the right even better. But he must have stepped out of bounds, or did I miss a flag?
No, there was no flag. He stepped out of bounds. It was a nice run that time.
Yeah, I was watching the
Maurice
replay,
Boone.
and then I looked up on the field, and they've moved the ball all the way back to the Phoebus 42, where he apparently
You were
stepped
doing
out.
what Scotty tells you to do. You
I
were
was
looking at the monitor.
It took me 10 games, but I'm doing it. This is Hendricks at quarterback. Ronnie Hendricks, the junior.
And Hendricks is a good quarterback, Tim. He got banged up about 3 or 4 games ago and has not been able to play as much, but we'll see a lot of him next year.
Gain is to the Hampton 46-yard line. That'll be a first down for the Phantoms.
And you see who is the flanker.
Yep, Leon Mizell, along with DJ Parker to the near side. DB and McWright. Play action. Hendrick wants to pass, completes it to Parker. No, Parker couldn't hold on to it. A little premature. It looked like he was going to hold it, but
well,
couldn't.
he had it, Tim, and lost it as he was running.
So the incomplete pass stops the clock with 3:17 to go.
Been a good crowd on both sides tonight for this game.
Well, they've seen a good game. I mean, this game was still undecided, if you will, to some degree, right up until that last touchdown. It was only a 14-point difference, but the Crabbers did the job. They shut down the Phantoms in the red zone. Pass is caught at the 38-yard line.
And they look like number 10, Jeremy Blunt, if I'm not mistaken. But, Tim, he kind of juggled the ball as he was catching it.
Yep. They marked it at the 39. Here's your replay. Brings up third down and about 3. Of course, the Phantoms in 4-down territory here. Hendricks gives to McWright, and McWright is grabbed as he got back to the line of scrimmage. A nice defensive play by number 14, who I don't have.
No, it's not 14. It was 44.
Was it 44?
Turtle.
Well, that helps me out here because that's Turtle Fenner. I thought it was 14. I said, oh, my gosh, don't have a 14.
Well, that's why.
That's why.
It wasn't 14.
See, I figured that.
Hey, somebody gave me a call this week.
They have one remaining in the second half.
I got a call from somebody this week, Tim, and I think it was you.
No.
Who said that you can now beat me in golf?
Maybe. Maybe. I did. Do you remember me calling you Wednesday?
Yeah.
I mean, Thursday.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I wasn't sure whether you remembered it.
Well,
you sounded like you.
I was a little spacey.
You said something about Ruth was allowing you to answer the phone only while she was in the shower, and you weren't really capable of doing that very well.
And I was supposed to take notes, and it's hard to read my chicken scratches, and especially when
With your
it's
left arm.
left-handed.
Yep.
But I've got a lot of calls from a lot of people, and I do appreciate their thoughts and concerns.
4th down and about 3. And a huge sack all the way back to the 44-yard line. And on downs, we got a little scuffle downfield between players, and the penalty flag down there. But that one's broken up very quickly.
That was Mac Jones and Turtle Fenner.
Look at this blitz. I mean, they just never gave him a chance. One missed him, but the other one sure didn't. That was Mac Jones who put the kibosh on him. But a flag downfield. Had a little extracurricular activity. I don't know who did what to whom. But
was that, you think, after the play, dead ball foul?
I think so. But again, I just happened to look down that way and saw the official separating a couple of players. A brief skirmish. Now they're huddling, as you can see in the middle of your screen. They're going to tell us now.
Carter will let us know.
Now we can't hear him very well.
Well,
against Hampton. First down, Hampton.
All right, so it was offsetting penalties, and they were probably dead ball penalties, so the sack gives the ball to Hampton at the Phoebus 45, and you can get that fork out now and stick it in the Phoebus Phantoms, I'm afraid, because
wait a second. Do I have any of my cliches?
I thought I'd get that one out of the archives.
Well, let's
stick
see.
a fork in them.
That's over, but all over but the shouting.
All
Turn
over
out the lights. The party's over. Give them credit. They flat out beat us. They just plain out hustled us. They wanted more. They showed a lot of class. We took it. We need to look in the mirror and this is a real wake-up call.
All those things. That's what I need for tomorrow morning is a wake-up call.
And I love it. And I'm going to spend more time with my family.
And you will, because we don't have a game next week. Jimmy Williams takes the snap. Campbell, who had played the whole game to this point, and Williams is still dragging tacklers all the way down to the 23 or 24-yard line. They look like a rugby scrum. They just couldn't bring them down. All right, we're going to return to Darling Stadium for the conclusion of tonight's ball game after a brief timeout. Back here at Darling Stadium, first down for the Crabbers. Smith gets the ball. And pretty much like he has done all night long. Good yardage.
That was just a cross buck.
Joe Smith, number 11, carried again. He and McWright, outstanding evenings, well over 100 yards for each of them. Carlos Campbell over 100 yards rushing. Second down and 5 after the pickup. On the night, 20 carries for Joe Smith, 145 yards. Beautiful evening for Joe Smith. 2 touchdowns to go along with him. Campbell with the other 2. This is Jimmy Williams on the quarterback keeper, and he will go out of bounds after picking up a couple of yards. Mark him out at the 16-yard line. And got a penalty flag down. You still have one of those that you haven't used yet tonight. Your penalty flag call.
See, I forgot. That's what being injured does. He makes you forget.
Clipping against the Crabbers.
Clipping foul against the offense. Replay second down.
Moves the ball back to the 31-yard line, but again, it's all over by the shouting.
Turn out the light.
The only thing in doubt is the final score.
What was it? I loved it Monday Night Football when, what was that guy you started singing? Turn out the light.
Oh, yes, way back.
Don
again,
Meredith.
Don Meredith. Boy, you're showing our age here.
I loved him. Him and Cosell were a great
they were.
tandem. They really played off each other real well. Unlike what we got now.
That sounds like you're not thrilled about the team out there.
I'm not thrilled about Dennis Miller. I just can't see him in the booth. I'm sorry.
He's gotten a little bit better, but I tell you what's helped is they've had some really good games this year on Monday night. That's helped to distract from Dennis Miller and his contributions, if I can use that word. They've had some really good games. I understand you went to bed after the third quarter the other night and missed the game.
And I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Oh, I guarantee you. They had a poll on ESPN. Want to know how many people really, honest, truly stayed up. And I did. I stayed up till 1:20, and then I was so wide awake after that thing, I couldn't go to sleep till 2:30. 55 seconds left in the ball game. Third down and about 8 for the Crabbers. Handoff up the middle. And let's see who got the call that time. I tell you who hasn't carried the ball much tonight is Mac Jones.
Mac has been blocking. That looked like number 31, Tim.
Yeah, that's who that was. I was looking to see.
Solomon Bassett, junior running back for the Crabbers.
Mark the ball at the 20. It brings up fourth down. Crabbers will have to run a play before the clock on the scoreboard runs out completely. 27-6, Hampton on top. This is Turtle Fenner, and Fenner is in first down territory, which will be enough to stop the clock. They'll reset the chains, and that should be the last play of the ball game. And again, we want to remind you our players of the game. From the Phoebus Phantoms, Leon Mizell and Lawrence Callis. Is that who the Lawrence Callis was the player of the game from Hampton. Crabbers will just simply let the clock run out, and they will keep their playoff hopes very much alive with a final score of Hampton 27-6. We want to thank our corporate sponsors tonight, Zooms with 6 convenient Peninsula locations, and in part brought to you by Parklawn Wood Funeral Home, where your manager over there is Nancy Staten. Final comments, Bob, as our final game of the regular season is over.
Well, Tim, I think we've had some excellent games this year, and I've really enjoyed it, but it's gone way too fast. There's no way that we should be at the end of our season already, but we've done 10 games, and, you know, I know Phoebus is going to regroup. They're going to have a great team next year. They've got a young team, a lot of young people coming back. Crabbers will be strong again next year, but hopefully we'll get to do some of the playoff games.
Hopefully so. All right, that's going to do it for the Channel 46 crew. For Bob Killen and Bob Hintz, this is Tim Cole. The final score again, Hampton 27 and Phoebus 6. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.